fantasy fight. Canelo Alvarez versus Bernard Hopkins at middleweight. So we're going to do a 160, or I guess even a 175, because Hopkins never really did the whole 168-pound thing. Who would win? Two great fighters, two guys that at one point got to that pound-for-pound #1 spot. Two fighters that are going to go to the Hall of Fame, no doubt about it. And it's interesting because Hopkins used to be the promoter. You know, he was the he's like a vice president of Golden Boy Promotions, and obviously Canelo used to be there with Bernard Hopkins and Oscar De La Hoya. If you would have asked Bernard Hopkins or De La Hoya this a few years ago, they would say that Canelo would win. But now, after Canelo lost to Bivol, I saw Oscar De La Hoya saying that Bernard Hopkins would beat Canelo Alvarez, and it's interesting. I think it's an interesting fight. So for one, I think Hopkins and Canelo are both excellent defensive fighters. I think both are very good counterpunchers. I think the one area where Canelo has Hopkins in is power. Hopkins, he didn't ever have great power. Canelo, I would say, is good power. It's not end the fight power, generally speaking, unless his opponent's very tired, like a Kovalev situation. But it's strong power. I would definitely put like an 8 out of 10. You know, maybe an 8.5 out of 10 for Canelo power. Hopkins is more like a 6.5, maybe 7. Both guys have good chins. I think the one area, though, that Hopkins has over Canelo is the footwork. His footwork is a lot better, and I think his jab is a lot better. And I think that would really be a big factor in the fight, because Hopkins, he doesn't have problems versus guys who have low punch output and guys who are slow-footed. If you look at the guys who he dominated against, Tito Trinidad, great power, but he didn't have the greatest footwork or speed. A guy like Kelly Pavlik, same thing. A guy like Antonio Tarver. I know that was at light heavyweight, but similar thing, etc. Glenn Johnson, John David Jackson. He doesn't have problems with punchers. What Hopkins has problems with is guys who have the speed. So Roy Jones, like, he's just way too fast for him. Joe Calzaghe, very fast. Jermaine Taylor, very fast. Those are the guys that give Hopkins problems, because Hopkins is so fundamentally sound, and he's such a technician in the ring. He knows your every move, and he can back you up. He can make you uncomfortable. He could fight going backwards. He can counter you. He even had a move where he would counterpunch you, and then he would kind of throw the counter and then initiate the clinch right off the counter. So the dude, he knew every trick in the book. The problem with knowing every trick in the book is, though, you can't beat a guy who's just way more athletic than you and just way faster than you. That's the one trick you can't do. Like, you can't teach a guy to be faster. So that's where he struggled. Canelo Alvarez, he doesn't have that, oh my God, like Roy Jones speed, you know, hand or foot. So I don't think that would be a huge problem for him. I think that this is a type of fight where Hopkins has the higher work rate, but Canelo lands those wow, eye-catching, you know, shots, kind of how Canelo always does it in his fights. And he lands a few good body shots and head shots. And it would be really interesting to see how the judges would score the fight. I'll put it like this. I think I would score the fight that Bernard Hopkins would win it. But how would the judges score the fight? That's really the question. I'm going to say Hopkins wins the fight in our eyes. You know, most of the people watching. But in the judges' eyes, it maybe is a draw, or maybe they, you know, might lean towards Canelo or whatever. But that's where I go with it. I think Hopkins really should unofficially win this fight. Let me know what you guys think. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And let me know what other fantasy fight videos you want me to do next. Peace.